Well, good evening and welcome to the Jamaica Mix. This is the last lap of the year edition as we head into Christmas, which is only 24 and a little piece of days away from today. Want to use the opportunity to just thank all who have supported and joined this telecast, this stream over the course of the last year. And we want to wish you and your families a great Christmas holiday and all the best for the coming year as it is now putting itself into position to start a brand new year 2026. So with that said, wherever you are, if you're joining us, we want to just express my appreciation for supporting the channel over the years. Now, Hurricane Missa is the big talk, and lots of stuff going on. Again, my heart goes out to the people in the respective parishes: Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, who were badly affected by this monster hurricane. And we just ask people just to hold it in there. We know that there are some, there have been some difficulty, and of course we want to address some of those issues today as well during this this program, as we sort of try to share what is going on, where we are, and so on. When I look at some of the topical issues as well, we see where the Prime Minister has literally threatened the people in the blogosphere that plan to go after them, and we're gonna have a little something to say about that. Want to look at what's happening with the hurricane relief money. According to the government's own sources, some 14 billion Jamaican dollars have been collected from various donors and private individuals. In fact, me have a little money where me wanted to put in the thing as well, but me now do it. Me will probably say we can find some other people who we can work with and get them to handle the issue that I'm here we're all grappling with. But be that as it may, our job is to have these discussions, and maybe the first place to start off with is the Prime Minister's argument. The Prime Minister is quoted as saying, "I'm not afraid of nobody," and he was referencing people like myself who are bloggers, who are out there providing feedback, information, reporting on the government's inept handling of the hurricane relief situation. Now, some 90,000 homes have been damaged or destroyed by this hurricane. And so what I tell you is that there are a piece of load of people in Jamaica right now, none know where to live, right? And so when the hurricane basically turned into Jamaica, the entire diaspora community rose up, right, to provide support and assistance to the people of Jamaica. Now, the other countries have joined into the effort, and they have plugged in significant amounts of money. Canada, the United Kingdom, here the United States of America, and all over the world have come to Jamaica's aid in terms of with respect to providing funding. This money is not money for go fix road in them. I want people to understand that, right? This is not money for go fix road and for go fix whatever, any kind of civil, you know, engineering issues with respect to the hurricane, because them there you have budgetary positions to provide for those things, or the government has a responsibility to go look money for deal with them kind of thing. This is money for help the sufferer there. People lose their house, them now no food feed, them business, the job where them did have gone because the business blew away. And so these monies are provided to sort of help stabilize people until them can find them way. In other words, you know, with the aftermath of a big hurricane like that, a whole heap of people in Jamaica literally now have them head on straight right now, because a lot of kids are traumatized by this hurricane, and it's going to take a long, long time for them to recover. And so, what donors, what donors are doing is putting money, pointing their personal monies to Jamaica to help these people, right? So the money coming in, Odd Payment, all of these other agencies are telling, oh, we have collected X amount of money. But we are now into the 5th week since the hurricane busted from Jamaica. 5 weeks. And of that $14 billion, not even one source of cent has gone to the people to whom the donors intended those monies to reach. And so when people decide to come out and talk about it, what we have is an administration that, in my opinion, me really thinks that Mr. Wallace must think that people are idiots. It's either that or I must smell himself or something. Because you cannot deal with people like, say, you think them are picnic and whatever. We live in a world, in an environment, a socio-political environment where people have the right to speak. People have a right to share their commentary and opinion, right? Now, if they want to malign people and get themselves in trouble and badmouth people, that depends on them. So if people out there tell lie, use the system and deal with that. But you know, come on thing on stage with the big Jamaica sign in front of you. You like you literally show the big Jamaica coat of arms on the stage. And I tell people, oh, I'm not afraid of no man. I'm not afraid of nobody. And if a man want to do Ray, me I go use the same mechanism and go after them myself. No, that don't make no sense. Jamaica people never elect the prime minister for talk to them like that. Jamaica people elect the prime minister for do the work. Do the work that them elect him for do. And in a time of crisis, to lead. That them elect you for your boss. Nobody know you're not nobody father or whatever that you feel you scold big people. In a free society, in a free world, people have a right to say the God Almighty thing with them want. If they want to say something out of the way that people are going to sue them, that are feed them business. But you can't come from public stage and you try to frighten people. Tell them, say, boy, what you going to do and this and that. And because them are, but all because people are shine light on you because you ain't doing jack. You ain't doing jack, boss. That's it. So all of this parading round in your blue suit and your blue tie and your dye up here and all them thing there, and you pose off with a media ready-made smile. That don't mean jack when people are dead for hungry. Don't want to play. I know now sit down on $14 billion worth of money where people give to the country. And that people are talk out. People are say you need for give we a talk. Oh, this or go. Right? And so when we instead of do the work, you there I threaten the people I threaten the people of Jamaica. And then what is worse, you have people who think say are the right thing you do. And that is only empowering you to doing more foolishness. Right? Mr. Marlene Malahoo Ford, who you know, it's a pity that the electorate them so stupid, because them should have run you out of the house, out of parliament, right? I don't know how, but again, I guess the corrupt electoral system we have. But Marlene Malahoo Ford is now raising an alarm from the back benches of parliament. I tell people, so, well, oh, you know something, we need to go back and institute these libel laws so that they no, keep in mind, you know, them libel law thing in 2013, the parliamentary system, the same governmental system, literally struck down these archaic legislation, right? Recognizing people's right to speak. And her thing is, because people are making criticism of her party and her political leader, we must go back to that point where we are going to say to Jamaicans that, listen, you can't criticize the prime minister. No, you tell me if anything can go so. Think about that. If you criticize the prime minister, them for because at that we used to see a go on, you know, during the COVID thing, a common assault, the police go at people yard and draw them out. Some little youth who now have no the wherewithal for tie on legal protection for themselves. And police abuse them, take away them right. That is the kind of governance that the current administration would like to go to, where they are operating with a level of rights, right? Give me 1 second. Yes, man. So they are operating in a way where they want to abrogate the rights of the people of Jamaica, right? So what we have is a fascist approach to governance, right? Similar to what going on in America, similar to what going on in Russia. Jamaica has come down to that, right? Where people don't have the right to express their opinion. No, listen, you have libel laws, you know, those laws are on the books, right? That is there to protect people who believe that they have been wronged. If you want to think, I have this program, and if I make irresponsible statements, right, in as much as I have the right to speak freely, right, I have a responsibility to speak carefully, right? But to threaten people for speaking, it's not about protecting their positions. It's about literally what you're saying to people is, don't shine light on the wrongs that I'm doing. Or if I'm not performing, don't say anything about it. You don't have no right to speak about that. And that is the problem that we are having in Jamaica. And what is worse is because the whole hurricane relief program has been running so badly, it makes this all the more important that the administration operates from this position. So what you are doing is trying to silence your critics. Boss, the government of Jamaica is in receipt of some $14 billion. And the donors, people like myself, who have contributed to the effort, want to know what I do with the damn money. Why is it that people are still asleep a street in a old car and or from people's veranda, and them can't get little help for put on back them roof on them house? Me see, here is a you know, just the clincher. The local authorities are saying to people in some of these communities, the same local authorities who are absent at the immediate seizing of when the hurricane dead off and left the country, the same local government authorities who did supposed to go out there, go make sure and check on people, make sure said them did clean the gully them and all them things that people place no wash with. I turn on now and I tell people, say, You can't just get up and go build back because we have to get permit and all them type of things. Now let me ask you something. You know, Jamaica where people are dead for hungry and people broke and have no money. You ever tell people about for go get permit? Where them can't even find money for buy a pound of nail. And you want them to come apply for permit for do what? For put on back 2 sheets of zinc on the house? That tells you how insensitive we have become as a country. Because those local authorities who are missing in action, most of them unaffected by the ravages of this hurricane, is literally now going to use their officialdom to keep down people from recovering from the hurricane. I'm not making this thing up. I'm not making it up at all. This is where we are, right? The people don't Westmoreland, people in St. James, and the respective mayors are showing that out there. The press, at least them pick up that and reported it. At a time when people are trying to, because rain and fall every day down Westmoreland, right? And if you imagine that people don't have a pen to write it because all of that blow away and wash it. And you all tell people, say them have to go down at the parish council office to go look permit to fix back them house. When you weren't there in the first place to provide any kind of guardrails with which people build. Westmoreland has been living on the edge for more than 150 years, where most of the people have to build boardhouses. People ask the question, why do people live in a boardhouse? Because our political system over the years has failed those people, both the PNP and the JLP. So just make sure so people don't believe say this is about JLP. The fact is that our political system, 150 years ago, those parishes were always a major part of the sugar belt. And so you have these migratory workers, not just workers out of Westmoreland and Hanover, but people come from all parishes to go working at the sugar field because no work no there nowhere else. And so that's the only kind of work them gonna get for chop cane and you know, prune and reap the cane in the ground. And so them living in these barracks because the land is owned either by the government or large-scale landowners. And what they generally would do is lease people a little house spot. So none of these people don't have no tenure on the land. They don't have no title, right? So they can't put on any permanent structure. That is the reason why you have so much boardhouse down Westmoreland and elsewhere. Because the people lease a little house spot, and if the landlord decides to, why am I not renew the lease, they have to take up the house, put on a truck back, and carry it go somewhere else, right? People need to understand these things, and that is because and it has maintained itself to this day, 2025, because our political system has failed the population, both PNP and JLP. So now I can look like Saddle's wholeness alone, right? They have done nothing. We became independent 1962. And so when the colonial people them could have make an excuse under the Crown Colony thing prior to the August 6, 1962. Afterwards, we now excuse our politicians who make themselves available for have the office and hold and the key to the place. When the Master King left our Queen, the Bustamante and whosoever else take over the key. And they have done nothing to improve the position of Jamaicans who live in those areas, right? And that has continued year in, year out, so that today, in the year of our Lord, 2025, December 1st, that situation still maintains itself. And that is the reason why the people them can't build a proper house, because they don't own the land. I see where the government now is talking about them are going to fast track land titling, right? Maybe they might listen to me. Well, as a friend of mine said, it looked like everything where you say the government jump on it You just want to wait 2 days and you see them have a policy and come out on it. Because enough of what I propose and that me see them announce now as policy. And that is fine. Me don't need no credit for that damn thing, right? The bottom line is, me see the government is now talking about providing title. And that's a good move. Late like Dickens, but it better late than never. Because the only way we are going to change the position of these people who live in those parishes, we are going to give them a sort of a step ladder out of the punishing poverty that they have existed for the better part of the last 150 years, is by giving them ownership to the space where they operate from. And without a land title, that is never going to happen, right? You can't borrow money to repair a house that you know have proof of ownership that the land where the house depend belong to you. You can't get mortgage if you don't have a title, right? So all this argument about we're going to sell people container houses. People need to remember this is not a free thing, you know. Maybe some of the people in the politics, based on them connection with the MP and so on, might be lucky enough that they make 2 of them container, they're available to a couple of them. But the whole idea behind this container house thing is that somebody connected with the government is going to make a piece pot load of money to sell a container that don't cost more than $5,000 US, right? They are going to be able to sell it for 3.5 million Jamaican dollar, right? Which is not even a real asset. It's like buying a car. It's a deteriorating art. It's a piece of iron. So no matter how them panel it and fix it up, it's not a house. It's a shipping container. And if people smart and know what they do, you don't take your money and buy that. But somebody, here the government is looking at some couple thousand abandoned containers where they're the ports right now. And the plan is to give that to somebody, someone of them friend, to convert them in houses, portable houses. And that's how we think about Jamaica people, you know. None of these ministers of government ain't gonna live in a rusty tin pan where you paint over with little primer and spirit over. Okay, it's a shipping container. Would any of them go put them family in that and live and expect them to live a lifetime in our container? Why are we proposing that? Because all that is doing is entrenching the decadence and the people who you're putting in those boxes. You are entrenching their poverty status. Hurricane Melissa never does come for just mash up Jamaica. You know? Hurricane Melissa is a gift to the country to change direction. It is an opportunity for the country look upon itself, look upon the way how people live, and make government really know for the first time in the 63, now 64 years since we are an independent country, that the government actually work for the people of the country, right? So when they hear me with my stridency, you know, I don't have nothing against Mr. Wallace. I don't know him personally. I beat him a couple times, but he would have never remember. I don't care. My thing is, him take the job as a prime minister. He needs to do the work. We don't want him nothing, right? And nobody not have to come and a kiss him on him jaw and all them things. Because him job is to do the work. If he want to take the PR, him don't want to take it. That's film business, right? Film job is to work in the best interest of the people of Jamaica, right? And this is an opportune moment for Jamaica as a country to change the trajectory of the lives of the people who live in those parishes, right? And it's simple. It's simple. That's why when you hear me talk all the while, I say the government not a plan. The government never had a plan to deal with how we get out of this hurricane and recover from it. Because if you had a plan, if you have a plan, the first thing we do the minute the breeze stop blowing and the rain start fall is that you send a couple of 100 young people from the university, them you give them some time off from school, and you send them through all of these parishes, and then go survey the place, capture information, all of the people who are impacted, how many houses, etc., how much picnic in each house, the status of the health of the people, whether they have old people, etc. So we know now where we are going to work with, right? If we need to provide people with aid, assistance, food, how much people, we know how much people we are provide, how many families, how much people make up the family, and what we need. And then we set a timeline where we are going to do this for until we get the people on them foot so them can get back out. But we never had a plan. If we had a plan, we would have, see that here is an opportune moment to transform, right? To create social and physical transformation of these townships and parishes, right? Not that we are going to try build a new city so that your money friend them can go there and take over the place and run after people them off of the land. Because right now, Jamaica's approach to this hurricane thing is one that suggests that some land baron is in the wings and look for see how them can scuffle with people off of them land. And then them go turn it in a housing development where them can sell for a gold teeth jackass money and them rich and thing, and the original land owners are the people that are squat on the land. You run them so them life continue the same misery where them come from for the past 100 and odd years. We need to do better than that. And when people like me out there and I offer these kind of positions, I'm not going to be unwilling to criticize. If there is something to criticize, you go and get it, right? But implicit in all of that is a recommendation. But we don't care. And this hurricane was a test. It provided an opportunity for the country to take a firm look on itself, a serious look on itself. Where do we go from here, right? Because Jamaica don't only exist for Andrew Holness and Mark Golden and his friend them, right? Jamaica is a space where some 2.8, 2.9 million people call home, and another maybe 2 million away who live over Yasso feel the same way, right? And so if we are not interested, concerned with raising the level, right, the life quality of the people of the country, then my thing is to pack up and go, man. Make somebody else do the work, right? Because nobody can frighten me. Well, first of all, me have to use my oldness argument. I'm not afraid of nobody. So I'm worse. Me not tell no lie about nobody. Me not malign nobody. Me I tell the truth. So if the truth leaking on your backside, hug up that, right? Because me not back off. Me not apologize. Well, as a general rule, me not apologize for nothing. Right? So, may I tell you now, Jamaica will have an opportune time now to change the dial, to shift the trajectory. What is it that we want for our people, right? How do we see ourselves in 2-3 years after this hurricane, provided the next one will leak in our backside, right? How do we see ourselves at that time? So, we have a before and after. Where do we see ourselves going? How much better will we be after having had this experience? And when I talk about we, I not talk about politicians, I talk about the people of Jamaica, right? I not beg nobody nothing, Me, I tell you, so I'm not afraid to talk, right? I'm not afraid to talk. But I still have a program I may run where may sell out some of my art collection as well, and my projecting thing is to contribute 30% of the proceeds to the hurricane relief project that we have, art for shelter. So just to give you a little prips, these are some of the pieces. These are prints on canvas, and them sell for what? $125. Here's another one. Just giving you a little taste, if you will, right? And these are Christmas are come, so good opportunity for grab something where you can, provide as a gift to your friend or family and thing. Remember, with the understanding, 30% of the proceeds go to the project. The objective is to try raise at least $5,000, where we can use that 5,000 and go down to Westmoreland and Hanover and help some people put back them rooftop and all of that. So check out the website at yardmedia.com, and let me just see if we can find it. Yeah, so see the yardmedia.com. Check that out, and because what we are trying to do, seriously speaking, is to see if we can help some of the people back on their foot. Now, some good news, because I know everything are rare, because I see the JLP FM, otherwise known as Nationwide News, had a big news release earlier today that Jamaica is set to receive some 6.7 billion United States dollars in international support over the next 3 years to help rebuild after Hurricane Melissa. Now, at them money we are going to use to fix the road, not the $14 billion that people like me and my friend them and other people all over the place contribute to. The money they have to help the people them to put down back them house. This money have to fix road and infrastructure, $6.6 billion. And of course, the International Monetary Fund announced this earlier on today. Now, keep in mind that the country did pick up some money as well from the catastrophe risk insurance facility, which was about what? 150 million US dollar. Nice, you could change that too. So, give the government them credit, because we have to give that to I know everything I do. Made us a leak, Mr. Wholeness, where me thinking nah, do not work. But on the side there, him out a road, him put out him hat and get some thing, and that's good. But you still have a responsibility to the people of Jamaica. You know, go and good this up. Me I say that. Whether people want to like it or truth me attack. Anyway, so we get some money. The hurricane damage is put at about 8.8, roughly 9 billion US dollar. That's a piss pot load of money. That's almost 2 trillion Jamaican dollars. And so it's good to see that the international financial community, right, see Jamaica as a good risk. And yeah, we have to give the government that too, because the last couple of years, them go on good in terms of the management of the Jamaican fiscal management. We have to give you that, right? But right now, in terms of the hurricane relief, you have no clue, Mr. Wholeness, how to do that. Maybe what you need to do is go get in some professional people. Me give you a little thing, I mean, I do it for free, right? In terms of provide you with some ideas and some approaches to get on top of this disaster, right? Because the country, we're not doing good at all. It basically says that we have not moved further. Now, a good friend of mine said, Mr. B, maybe them not really made no effort to do well, because that way if people sufficiently frustrated, then become so accustomed to the frustration that them don't even see, say, man down there scuffle with the money. When me hear that somebody do it, I put me and say, Lord have mercy. But then, given Jamaica is mired in a corruption, and it's hard for this, for dismiss a view like that. So in a little way, but the person at a point. And you can't really dismiss them thing they're out of hand, just so, without thing. So, but clearly, the management of the disaster is a disaster itself. And so, me believe that maybe it is in the best interest for the government to bring some people in, right? I mean, I talk about the opposition, because me honestly believe when the government invited them to come on a committee and them turn it down. Me personally believe that that was the stupidest interpretation of politics that I've ever seen. But that's a for them business. The bottom line is we need to get the best people to help us move the country forward. I was around during Gilbert, and during Gilbert, I was working at Grace Kennedy, and I had the the opportunity to work directly alongside Carlton Alexander, who was the chairman of Grace Kennedy at the time. God rest him soul. And what that man did in terms of how he, not only controlled the reins of Grace Kennedy at the time, in the most critical time in the company history, but he was also lending his expertise to the government at the time. And that, what we saw during that period, it was what, about a 2.5, 3 months period. We worked with him for about 10 weeks, right, which is 2.5 months. But what I learned from him in terms of crisis management, no matter if I had to go to the best university in the world and do a PhD, it don't have the value of what I got from those 10 weeks that I work with Alexander. And so it's not that Jamaica don't have the talent or the people with the skill and the talent to navigate this crisis period. It is more a question of the unwillingness of our political leadership to put up a hand. Listen, you don't have to know everything, boss. People call me and say, why, Mr. B, so and so and so. I may not have the information. Mr. May go check it out, right? Or may go research it. Because none of it have a monopoly upon knowledge and information. And so the simple thing, Mr. Holness, if you can't manage, ask for help. That no means that you're weak, In fact, that shows how much you're strong. Because a strong person is able to recognize that they have limitations, and then they bring in talent to counter the limitations that they operate with. Simple thing, right? A simple thing. So let me say this. We have to hold our political leadership responsible. No make nobody frighten about them about thing, because courthouse no make for dog, Courthouse make for people. So if you want to go to court, me not a problem. Me come to court with you, but me know me not lose. Me can tell you that. I'm not frightened for courthouse. Right? Join the line. Come in a frightened. Jamaica people only need to hold on the political representatives accountable. Right? Not just responsible, but accountable for the things them say. Because when them dep on the campaign trail and the private sector get them a piss pot load of money for go win election because them are going to benefit. You think business people give politicians money for nothing? Them give them money for run election because when the election done, them want something. Right? Them expect a let off. Right? And that is the reason why people not supposed to hug up and kiss up no politician. Right? Because politicians suspect, all of them are the same thing. Because them owe favors to people. And when those favors are to be paid, you don't count. All them need you for, because them can, until them can change the system, and them don't need it for vote. All them need it for is to put your finger in the ink and mark your X, wherever. That's it. So all I want to know out there, kill up on yourself and while Mr. Holness make out a glass and him make out a gold and thing. You need to get an head examine. No man no better than no other man. None of it no better. Because all the way have an expiry date. We got dead. We can't live forever. And no matter how much money you amass, you can't carry it with you. Right? And worse, them amass money that and enrich themselves. And you are dead for hungry, but you out the road and run back a politician and load them up on a thing. And you don't have jack shit for sure for where you do. Right? So all I want to know out there, and then big up Mark Golden and Holness and whosoever else. Think again. Because nothing in that phone. Right? You are dead for hungry. The most they might give you a little $1,000 bill for go buy a food. That's it. Your light bill want to pay, how much time you think they want to pay that? You rent, or you want a house to live. How much people know them house blow away? How much politician you say? Do you see them now? Mr. Wallace affair tell him MP them for go down in the country where they did devastation there. At 3 weeks after the hurricane that them are show up down there. Because them not live in the community where them are represent. The whole of them living at them big high-rise palace in a town and wherever else, with police are drive in front of them and back of them. So them not live the same life where Uno live. And Uno there are load up and a kiss up politician like say them a god. And when them chat shit, nobody no want to call them out on it. Or because people are calling them out in a thing. Well, me and Uno, try that with me, right? Because me ain't run from nobody. Me not afraid of nobody. Take all this story, right? We need to do better than this. And we need to hold our political representatives responsible and accountable to the people of Jamaica. Them never come run politics. Well, at the rate of what them do it for themselves. Them not really do it for the people. Because I can't believe, right? Westmoreland, they must vote PNP this last time, right? But the Westmoreland people, them who the PNP man them defeated some JLP man, who had the intention of being the elected representatives for the people of Westmoreland. None of the hurricane boss way down there. Where them man there, right? So it's only if them could have get something out of the politics that them are gonna show up. That are the kind of politics we are practicing in Jamaica, It's not about the people. It's about elevating themselves into these cushy political representative positions that them can get all of the government largesse, duty-free concession. A man going to politics and him a walk on him shoes side. Him don't even have a good pair of shoes to thing. And the next time you see him a drive Mercedes Benz and him have 2 bank accounts all over the world, right? You think them in a politics for you? Your job as a citizen of the country is to demand more. And when they F up, you need to call them out for it, right? Because none of them no better than none of it. Think about that, right? So again, let me back up. Government has picked up some 6.7 billion United States dollars. That is going to go a long way to alleviate the problems that we anticipated in terms of the nearly $2 trillion as far as the cost, the recovery cost from the hurricane was going to impact Jamaica. And that is a nice little move, 6.7. Let me see. Yeah, that's just a little over $1 trillion. So we still have to find another trillion, or just another 800 million, 800 billion Jamaican dollars to come out of the hole. But it's a big hole we know, hell of a hole, right? And so, I forgive the government kudos for that. This is a good start. The programs that in terms of these monies are going to be spread over a 3-year period. So again, that should give a little bit of respite, but we're still going to have some pressure because government are going to have to borrow some money locally, which I hope them don't. Them have to do more, increased levels of borrowing. My hope is that them don't come in at the domestic market and borrow, because if you do that, you will crowd out the business community who need all of the access them can get at commercial banks to get them businesses back on track, right? The one thing with the Jamaican government is that them generally, with the exception of when Ardley Shaw was finance minister, Jamaica has never defaulted on its sovereign or international debt. And so it's easy for the country to borrow money on the outside. Plus, the track record of the last couple of years in terms of the fiscal responsibility is a good one. So them should be able to think. So let's now go spend that 14 billion that they were sitting on and try to help some people. Be wary of this container thing where them are telling you if you go think. Me not encourage nobody to take NHT money if you have access to it to go buy a container. If you can borrow $4 million to buy a container, $4 million can build your house. And if you anybody who want information as to how or who can build that for them, link me up, right? Link me up on the program, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. I mean, provided because I have 2 different persons who are involved in a construction who tell me that them can raise up a 20-foot by 20-foot structure, concrete structure, for less than $3.5 million. And that is something where you can get title for, you can pass it on to your family if them dead and gone. If you're dead and gone. And you can leave some wealth opportunity to create wealth within your family. You buy a container, you can't do that with it, right? Because it's a depreciating asset. By the time, in fact, you borrow money, $3.5 million. By the time you don't pay for that, you pay about $8 million. And by the time you don't pay $8 million, it do what 50 cents. Remember, somebody tell you that. Well, listen, this was me just wanted to come and show my face that we still a one thing, right? Jamaica Mix alive and kicking. For those of you on YouTube, if you subscribe to the channel, if you haven't, may I ask you to do that, and just give me your feedback as well on the presentation, and check out the website as well at yardmedia.com and support the team, right? Art for Shelter. Here is a painting of mine with Shelley and Fraser Price after she ran over the baton to Tia Clayton at the World Championships the other day. And if them they just had a little bit better baton change, Jamaica would have win this gold medal. But big up on yourself. If this painting is one that's available for sale, to 30% of the proceeds to the Art for Shelter project. And so, me will leave you on that note. Check out the other pieces there on the website. And of course, until we do this again, I'm me, same one, Mr. B. Big up on yourself.